Okay, I'll double check that that is live, but I believe we are. Turn my phone sound. Oops, there we go. All right, everything is in order, I think. So, welcome everybody to Love Speaks Love. I'm Denise, your host, and my beautiful guest today is Yukia. Welcome, Yukia.
Hi everyone. It's great to be sort of back in sharing. It's been a while, even though lately I have been on a few podcasts, but it's really great to connect with each one of you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for you to be sharing what you've been doing. I think we've both been in a place of hibernation, but a lot going on, but just not very public. So, okay, so people are starting to join. So I think let us start as Love Speaks Love does with our Heart Connect. So I invite anybody watching, if you're in a position to do so, to just make yourself comfortable. Close your eyes if you want to, and bring your awareness to your heart space in the center of your chest. And if you want to put one or both hands on your heart and just give love to your heart, and let us breathe love into our hearts. So let's take a few breaths together, breathing in love, breathing out anything of the day so far, or the day ahead, or the week. Anything at all that your body is ready to let go of. Any worries, any concerns. And as we breathe love into our beautiful hearts, feeling the love spreading from your heart all over your body. And let's just breathe a little deeper now to the bottom of our bellies. Breathing as deep as you can. Maybe even breathing to the tips of your toes and the top of your head. Filling that central column of light with love. And let us extend our heart awareness out now to the heart of Gaia. So connecting in with Gaia's diamond heart, connecting in with the new earth grids. Feeling ourselves anchored within that space of love with Gaia, anchored in the new earth templates. And let us, actually, before we extend our heart awareness out to the sun, just feeling Gaia's love moving into your body, into every cell. Feeling like you're cocooned in a blanket of love. And feeling Gaia's recognition of all of us. And her appreciation and gratitude for all that we are and all that we do. And in return, sending our gratitude to the heart of Gaia. And extending our heart awareness out now to the heart of the sun. Feeling gratitude for the solar energy that we receive, for the life, the light from the sun, and all those solar codes, the sun being the gateway for the cosmic codes, and feeling gratitude for the sun, and feeling that solar energy moving into our bodies, into our solar plexus, into our hearts, into all of our energy centers, into every cell. And extending the heart awareness out now to the heart of Source Creator. Feeling the energy from Source Creator moving into our hearts, into our crown, down into the spinal column. And just feeling the spinal column filling with light. Feeling that spinal column extending out. And I'll pass over at this point to you, Yukia, just if there's anything that you wish to add.
And just feel the energy of the grid system that is holding us as we interconnect as grids of light with each one in the seabeds, in our oceans of love throughout the planet, the cosmic oceans, and all the waters within ourselves. Just feeling the receiving of this beautiful recalibration and recoding that our planet is undergoing as we are repolarizing. And balancing out all that is in transmutation, returning to equilibrium, to divine balance within ourselves with great love.
Beautiful. So when we're ready, bringing our awareness back to our heart space. And acknowledging the water in our bodies. And let us say to our hearts, I love you. I love you. I love you. And opening our eyes whenever we're ready, and maybe even taking a drink of water.
It's never enough water. Especially lately the hydration is absolutely, the levels of dehydration are it's really increased. And of course here in the Andes it's worse because we are in the high mountains, but I think it's all over. People are drinking great amounts of water and choosing very carefully what water to drink, because that's one of the keys, to up health.
And one of the things we want to do today is a bit of a water blessing. And for those that don't know, I've known Yukia quite a long time. Like we were both in an online women's circle that was like an international women's circle, not in the same circle, there was many. And we connected first through that. And then I think I reached out to you when I was starting to write codes down. I think we had a little chat in about 2017 or 18, I think. And then the first time we collaborated was with water. We did, I think, was it the three of us? Was it me, you and Suzanne? Or maybe I did one with Suzanne first. Can't remember, it's so long ago now.
Yeah, we did it the two first, and then we did it, the three of us together. Yeah. But first I did it with you. Yes.
In about 2019, I think. 18.
Yes.
I can't That's another thing I really can't do time at the moment. It's really, really hard to work out what day it is, what month, even what season. Season is about as close to time as I can get at the moment. And I guess for you in Peru, that's, you know, the seasons are very obvious here.
Yes, yes. Not as obvious because everything is changing, you know. So we're supposed to be in summer and it's just rainy season. It's been colder than during winter. So this is our winter. And in June, July was our summer, you know. So that's why it's very interesting, this repolarization, you know, because although the poles are reversing and organically and very moderately, thank goodness, but this changes in the seasons, you know, everywhere in the world, everywhere. Yeah, it's very interesting.
And I'll just give a little bit of background to you. I've just got the details up on my screen. So you've been dedicating your life for the past 35 years to assist humanity in the current planetary shift. So you must be super excited with how things are shifting at the moment. For me, it's only been 20. Man, you've got another 15 on top of that you've been like twiddling your thumbs, just waiting for people to come online. And you're in a core group, the Sun Elders. So you've been working with them for many, many years. You've been speaking light language.
Yes.
And the light language has been coming through. When did that start coming through?
2002.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've had a very varied and traveled life. Is there anything you would want to add to what I've said there?
Yeah, I've traveled to, I was guided to travel all over the world, you know, which was part of exchanging love and also learning from indigenous cultures, so that the embodiment, the dissension of the versions of the in higher frequency that were coming in could anchor and could actually be embodied on earth. So it was needed for a walkabout. I call it a walkabout. I went on a walkabout like the Aboriginals go, and many tribes, you know, and that took me to many parts of the world, you know, backpacking, and really it was a big change in life, you know, from corporate life, from having you know, a wealth of means, you know, and then to just go on a walkabout and just, you know, learn from the different indigenous cultures, but also exchange the coding that we all have, that I had with different sacred sites, and do the work in this with the stargates and the ley lines in those sites too. But a lot of receiving took place in those sites, a lot of activation of the DNA in terms of its upgrade. It was an accelerated process. So the walkabout was needed. Many people, they tune in remotely. They don't need to go on a walkabout, you know. But in my case, that was the guidance from Source and from my team. I call it my team because those are the golden ones, the Sun Elders. You know, I've had many names for them, you know, and was to actually go physically to location and to actually do that, and that's been a tremendous learning in terms of knowing itself, you know, the energy knowing itself, you know, the energy that is in its body, you know, the grid that the body represents, but the knowing itself as a human, knowing itself, you know, and working on the stuff that needed to be transmuted, you know, working on the wounds, the existential wounds, the cosmic wounds, you know, and the earthly wounds, you know, of not so many incarnations, but still it doesn't mean that you don't have the wound. You have, because you've lived in times, transitional times, where the wound of the earth and the collective consciousness was wounded to a certain extent, and you were part of that trauma. You are part of that wound, so that there was a healing process, an acknowledgement process, and a healing process, and then a transmutation of it, and then, an embodiment of all those skill sets and gifts that it brought to this life, to this experience, and loving this life, because the walk was really about finding the pearls in Mother Earth that I did not see it before, and finding, of course, the pearls within myself, and wanting to stay in this planet was one of the main themes, and very grateful for that.
Did you go to Australia?
I did not. I haven't gone to Australia, and I haven't gone to New Zealand. And I remember I have seen, long time ago when I was in Palenque, I saw this elder, and he was doing, he was in the cenotes, and he was doing these readings, sand readings, with the water. Actually, you would dip it in water and then put it in the sand, and you would make drawings for us. And I went with the group, and I was, because I could, and I spoke my Spanish, which is a mixture of Portuguese and Spanish. They call it here Portuñol. And and I was left to the last to do, and he actually, during the reading that he did, he said, he wrote in big letters NZ, and he says, once you go to this country, you will not leave. Because your blueprint, of your original Lemurian blueprint, even before Lemuria, is there. So
interesting.
So it's not the reason why I didn't go. It's just hasn't, when I was in Bali twice, for so many months, I could have gone. It just never occurred. It wasn't the divine timing for that. Yeah.
So you're in Peru at the moment.
Yes.
So I've never been to Peru, and obviously there are so many special sacred sites in Peru. I was thinking about this before. Do you think the whole country is energized in a different way in Peru? Because there's so many sites, there's so many ancient places there, and it seems to have, despite the number of people that go there, have been kept. I could be wrong on this because I haven't been, but my feeling of it is that there's a certain purity to the energy, there's a certain divinity in the energy. So that's one question. And how far are you from a sacred site? Like, how long would it take you to get to somewhere?
Well, I will answer the first one because that's easy. Within 20 minutes, I'm up the mountain, and there's so many sacred sites around me. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm in the sacred valley, which is surrounded by mountains and sacred sites, so easy access. And one of the reasons I'm also here, in terms of it's a very interesting situation, actually, the first question, because there is a purity to it, but the purity attracts huge polarity. So there is a purity, which is encased by the upper spirits, by the ancient spirits of the stones, itself, by the magnetic lines, by the ley lines, by the incredible resources, mineral resources, especially the energy of gold, that exists inside all these mountains. All right. but this is an incubator. You know, it's like, I always see it as an incubator. It's an incubator, you know, so that energy encases it sort of surrenders the humbleness of the people of the land that are really in their heart. But then you have that great light, that great divine flame, and almost like a sacred fire of triunity, attracts great shadow also, great darkness and distortions, you know. And we see that through the political systems, you know, through the energy of greed that has set into the land for so long, you know, to the devastation of the Amazons, to the corruption that is taking place there. Just the energy of greed it's at its peak, because it's so rich in mineral resources. So it leads to corruption. It leads to distortion, and there is a balancing that takes place, you know. So on one side, on one extreme side, you've got divine light and the purity of the heart of An. We call it the heart of An, which is in the middle of the valley, you know, which balances the feminine energy and the masculine energy in synchrony. And, you know, that perfect equilibrium. And then you have the extreme peak of distortion and greed, you know, manipulation, control, you know, authoritarianism, you know, the lack of sovereignty within the people, you know. But then you have the humbleness of these people because they are so in touch with nature cycles, and they are so in touch with the old culture, and we can call it the pagan culture, you know, but they're in touch with the upper spirits, they're in touch with the ancient ones, and that keeps them in balance, because they can only navigate through their heart, you know. So it's a balance that's taking place, and then there's a meeting place, you know. No matter how the extremes are polarized, there's always a meeting space, a meeting celebration, you know. And we see it now, political unrest, you know, for 2 months, you know, but the people have stopped for carnival, to celebrate joy, to celebrate each other, to celebrate with the people that are now living here, you know. There's no separation between certainly where we are, okay, and it all depends how you interact and from where you are interacting. But we are invited freely to join the circles, to join their ceremonies, to join their rituals, you know. And so we meet. So even the political leaders, they meet in celebrations of joy and love in what we call, you know, the midway station, because we meet in the middle. You know, there is a way. There's always a way to meet in the middle, through the heart and through the energy of love. And love for nature is the big thing. You know, this alignment, if there wasn't this alignment with nature, inbred, and it's so ancient, you know, it's very, very ancient, you know, we're talking millions of years here. If there isn't this alignment with nature that's inbred in your DNA already, each one of them is a mirror of that, you know, this could be played in a very different way, but there is. So it's very interesting what happens here. And of course, this attracts a whole lot of people from all over the world that are coming here to do the inner work. Because the extreme shadow parts of yourself will come out, for sure, and quite in an accelerated way, and it's like a quickening, for you to work with, transmute, transform, feel the pain. So there is also a number of ceremonies, and there's plant medicine, there's breath work, there's a lot of activities happening here, connected with nature, and some of them not connected with nature, that enable those that are coming here to find themselves and to clear themselves, and so that they come to their own power. They find the divine light that exists here. All right. So there's that, so they come temporarily, they are in transit 5 years, 6 years, and they leave once they find who they are. So the land, Pachamama, holds this energy. And it's like a womb. It's very similar to Bali in many ways, because Bali, it's a womb of the mother that holds the fertility codes. Here we have the womb of Pachamama that holds the play of dualities and polarities and brings them to balance and transforms it and helps each one to find their way in whatever way they choose, of course. It's very interesting what's happening here. And there is one more detail, which is the Golden City. So when I came original here, I was called to come and do my walkabout here, of course, because this was a part that I could, transmute, that wound, existential wound, of the big traumas of the collective consciousness of the earth, and of course my own, in that role, during those times, those ancient times. But there was another reason, and I was called to the Golden City because there are ethereal cities everywhere, and here in Peru there is a golden ethereal city, and it stretches right through the Andes, and here in the Sacred Valley, it's a very palpable energy, and it's ironic that the polarization of the greed for gold exists exactly in this place, So, working at that cosmic level, as a guardian, as one of the guardians in one of the grids of that city, that infuses balance and equilibrium codes, divine mother codes, and guardianship codes to those that are navigating to a self-discovery journey, so yes, and preparing for preparing the platforms of the new earth through that Golden City. So a lot of the activations and a lot of the work that is done by many of us that are called here as guardians of the city, or as grids of light that work within that energetic fabric of reality. We are preparing the different platforms of the new earth to emerge, when all is in divine timing.
Yeah, beautiful.
So it's a beautiful, of course, I have a passion for the place, and now, this time around I was called here to come and actually complete something that I was unable to complete in Portugal. Because in Portugal I was able to receive the revelation, of the Sacred Worlds game for the children, that we'll be speaking later. But I wasn't able to actually put it into action, because I needed a place that could hold me and where I could feel embraced by the spirits of the earth, as an earthly being, as a welcomed earthly being, and welcomed earthly being. So this was the place. Yes. So
and to birth the game as well. Like it's
and to birth
almost
again. Yes, and to
in the
birth
wood.
anew,
Yeah.
and to birth anew, you know, with a new an embodied state that wasn't there before, you know, because there was an ascended state, but there wasn't a descendant state, because the ascended state, you know, needed to be grounded and earthed through the roots of the grandmother trees and the apus spirits and the ancient stones. And therefore, this was the place that that was welcoming this energy to do that. And it's also a place of home, because there's memory of, there's a lot of memory, cell memory of being here in very, very ancient times, well before the Incas. So yes, and so it's returning home in a way.
And the veils must be so thin there,
They
like
are.
the connection with nature. And I kind of feel, and connecting with nature and you know, the unseen ones, the fairies and the elementals, that's a big part of my passion, really.
Yes, yes, I've noticed, yeah.
And a lot of people are
Especially
saying,
recently.
what was that?
Especially recently, you
Yeah.
know. Yes.
I feel that is going to be part of the awakening, that people are going to be walking through the woods and they're going to start hearing the trees. They're going to realize that the birds, you know, are singing to them, and that these beings are trying to connect with them. And the Earth's energy lines are obviously getting stronger with all the extra cosmic energy that's coming through. And those that are measuring, there's a guy called Rory Duff who's been measuring the Earth lines and how much wider the aperture of all of the Earth lines has got. And you can feel, you know, you go to certain places, like you go to Standing Stones or you go to the sacred places in Peru, and you can feel Glastonbury, you can feel the buzz of energy when you touch things, when you're just standing on the land. And I think that's going to get so loud and so obvious that people, I think that's going to be a big part of the awakening, that people will suddenly go, oh wow, and start to see auras around the trees. And you know,
Yes.
and I feel the animals and the birds have been waiting for so long for us to appreciate them, to connect with them. And finally, more and more people are starting to. So there's going to be so much joy across the animal kingdoms as well. And do you feel that the nature spirits are different in different places, like say the fairies, or however you want to kind of term that? Does it feel like that nature spirit essence is different in different places? And
Yes.
how is it there? Like, because the trees are so honored and ancient. How is it?
But you know, it's what I've noticed traveling around the world, and also spending a lot of time in England, where the nature spirits for me are at its heights. For me, it's like exponential energy. You know, everything interacts, everything comes to see you, everything connects with you, you know. When you come to Peru, you have the nature spirits connecting in a very different way. It's through the magnetic pulse. It's through the land itself, you know, and through the ancient stones. But if you go to the jungle, then everything speaks to you, you know, everything. And I haven't been, but I remotely have done a lot of work, you know, in the jungle that was needed. And in fact, I had it when I was called, for the second time, I was called by the jungle. I wasn't called by the ancient stones first. I was called by this couple, by this particular tree in the jungle called the Tree of Light, and I made this big painting of this Tree of Light, that had an embryo in its trunk, and there was a couple of Shipibos, which I came to find out later on that they were Shipibo tribe, that welcomed me to come and connect with this Tree of Light, because I was carrying we carry codes, and I had codes that I could connect with those trees, because these are not physical trees. These are trees of light, and there's about 5, 6 of them, and I believe there are much more of them. And so people that carry the keys, the passcodes, they come and they're called to connect. And once you go through the tree, because the portal opens and you connect with the tree, so you have this situation happening in the jungle daily, with so many people that are commuting from different places of the world to either come and do medicine or to study, different herbal medicines, or to come on a walkabout through the jungle to connect with the spirits of the trees and through the spirits of the, and it is like the difference that I found between being in England and connecting at such a tender, gentle way. This connection is amplified. It's like you arrive, the veils are very, very thin, and everything is in your face, and you then are able to from your heart place, from the purity of the heart, because that is always the case, with anyone connecting with anything, you are able to open, to go through the portal or to go through the stargate and connect with that world of enchantment very easily, and actually interact inside it. So it's almost like you are mirroring by the time you arrive, by the time you do your different ceremonies, those that do ceremonies, you are already mirroring that enchantment, because you carry the coding in your DNA. So it's open to you straight away. And there is a more direct communication that I found, in Bali, for example. This is also an enchanted place that I found in Hawaii, and that I found in England, in the forests. There's communication. We hear the singing because we sound people. We can bring in the coding. We can see the glimpses, but here, once you connect, you see. Because it's the curtain, the membrane is so pristine, and it's difficult to explain, but it's like and it carries a lot of trust also. It carries a lot of trust. So I was called to come and connect with those lights, but I was also told that I don't have to go to location for that. So, it was interesting, so all these times since 2004, I've never gone to the jungle. And yes, I'm called to go to the jungle, and many times, and I want to go to the jungle, but the work that was done was already done, through the different trees of light and remotely, and with this beautiful tribe, that was just waiting to pass on the right coding, and to transfer and commune from such a place of love,
Wow.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I find it here, it's quicker. It's quicker. because there is a pristineness. I wouldn't call that innocence, you know, but there is like a clarity, you know, and a readiness of the land, you know, also, and a readiness of those that are wanting to connect from the nature spirits with us, you know, matching almost the frequency, because once you make up your mind that that is what you want to do, then you are already you've already raised your frequency to match that frequency of that realm of existence. And we see a lot of that with the dragons, you know, the dragon energy, and the elemental energy is very strong, much stronger than I find in other parts of the world that I've been. The elemental energy, you know, the fire energy, the air energy that you find. The elemental beings are beings that interact, that converse, you know. Yeah, so yes, there is a difference, and I found a difference all over the world, even in Hawaii, which I also found it was much more amplified. You know, you find nuances, you find differences, how the nature spirits really you know, send their messages, you know, play their games, their fun games, you know, so that you pay attention to, you know, how the double rainbows appear all the time, and if you're not paying attention, you don't get anything. But if you are, you know, then you can read the energy of the coding that is being transmitted. You know, it's different, but it's something that is new to a lot of people, you know, the disconnection. Disconnection. Because of a lot of shamanic practices in South America, and I'm going to generalize because I believe in other countries in South America it's the same thing, you know, you have this quite activated, and maybe not as activated as in other parts of the world. And there are exceptions like New Zealand and Hawaii and Bali and Indonesia. There are many that also have this balance of the elemental nature spirits energy, you know, the unseen worlds of enchantment, you know, the playfulness of that realm, and the connection with the animal kingdom, the spoken language of the unspoken language. You know, it's easy for any animals to comprehend when you speak the language of light, for example. It's and so it is easy for the tree spirits and for the ancient stones to comprehend it too, because that's the language of the heart. Yeah, that's the language. You know, and I remember my grandchild, and this, of course, he hasn't been to Peru, but he's in England, and he loves going to the forest because he has a connection, which is a natural connection with the elemental kingdom, and with the fairies, and with the dragons, and with the portals over the trees. He knows exactly what to say to open the gate without any, because he's a natural. You know, he came encoded already with that, all realms, you know, and like so many golden children, you know, we just forgot ourselves. And, you know, I remember when I started in my walkabout, one of the things that was activated was that world, you know, that world, because my galactic world was super duper, you know, activated. But there was so much to the earth that I was resisting to get to know. And once you surrender and you decide, you choose that you love this plane of existence, then you open the door And once you open the door, everything opens. And we can't do it without this part. That's one understanding that I've come to realize in my walk, that we are not in balance. We don't find that divine balance, that perfection. That perfection is not the right term, but that balance, that tuning, that equilibrium, where you are in the heart, in this place of silence and of stillness, at all times, or most of the times, because you are in balance with the nature cycles. You are in alignment with all your aspects of your higher versions, but you are in balance, and you found a way to embody that with the earth. It's like a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, even here in England, this is why the garden has been so important for me. Because
yes, you were telling me about your sun house. What is it?
The summer house.
So you want to share?
Well, I was just going to say that when I was in Australia, I spent most of my time outside. So I really felt connected like I'd never done before, from being a nurse for so long and really being inside all the time. So being outside in nature and really connecting to the stars, to the differences, that kind of the cycles, that's the word I'm looking for, the different cycles, and tuning into those. And it's been more of a challenge to do that here, because in Australia it's warmer. You kind of want to be outside all the time, but having the summer house and the garden, that has, and sleeping as much as I can outside. After I got back from Glastonbury last April, I started sleeping in a tent in the garden, and when I can sleep in the summer house, I do. Even last weekend, I slept in. It was too cold, but I slept in the summer house last weekend, and I felt so rejuvenated, being so close to nature, so close to hearing the birds, because on this side of the house is a busy road, but then there's the garden on the other. And instead of hearing the cars, I could just hear the robins singing or the song thrush, and just really tuning into nature and working with the land, getting my hands in the soil and getting my feet on the ground has been so beneficial, for my health, for my well-being. It's so underestimated, so undervalued, I think, the connection with nature. And not just, oh yeah, it's quite nice going for a walk in the woods. There's so much more. We're being cleansed when we walk through. We're being upgraded. The trees are feeding us cosmic information and feeding Earth's information out to the cosmos. It goes so much deeper. And the rainforest. Go on.
Yeah, no, I was saying that the trees are amazing because I'm very close to the trees, and the reason is because I've received so much from the trees, and I've understood how it's operating. It's like an antenna network, as you know, and they're holding libraries of information, and they're ready to be accessed by anyone, just tuning into that energy. And I think that's what, once we do that, we put our feet in the soil, and you receive so much healing just from being near a tree, for example, or putting your hands in the oceans, and putting your feet in the soil, so all that coding is part of the rejuvenation codex that we were not seeing. It was the unseen. It was the unseen. The importance of it. The importance of it. Yeah. So I'm glad that I know you feel the same way, and it's you wanted to continue so when you put your feet on the soil, and then
because we are electric beings, so we need grounding too. But in my garden, I feel really honoured, because it was just piles of rubble before I moved in, and my landlady got the garden, like the foundations there, but all the planting has been down to me. And because it's never been loved on that side of the garden as a garden, it's really enjoying having all the attention. Obviously, I've done a lot of light language there, and working with the rose, that's really come in on another level. I've planted 9 rose bushes in the garden, and that rose energy just feels really key at the moment. The energy of the rose, and not just working with rose physically, like, you know, drinking the petals or making oil out of it, but the rose beings just seem to be wanting to get the message across of us tuning into their energy and working with them. So even just little things like, if you're working with a part of your body that you feel might be out of balance, bringing rose energy into that part of your body, imagining that it's full of roses or full of petals. But the rose for me has been really key, and I think I'm going to do a bit of an immersion into it. I dried a lot of rose petals last year, and made rose oil, but I feel like I'm going to be drinking a lot more of rose tea.
Drinking it, yeah.
Yeah,
It's you know, there's a lot of actually a lot of the indigenous rituals are, you know, rose is one of the key elements, you know, of that, of you know, bringing in your fertility codes, activating them, you know, and regenerating them, and also, you know, bringing the balance with the divine feminine. And here they do dietas, they call it dietas, rose dietas, where they drink, so the elixir, so it's an elixir that's prepared of rose, you know, they drink it. They also have the bath oils, you know, with rose petals. It's and it's like an immersion of 11 days, you know, like 11 days, you know, where you are just, you know, in alignment and receiving the rose energy and interacting with that geometry, because the geometry is amazing. You know, the coding of the rose, you know, is a matching coding to what your coding is. Yeah. You know, especially in your heart. So it's very, it's once you integrate that, you know, then you are in balance with the geometry that you have come encoded with, you know, and it's just remembering that you know, bringing that into remembrance, even in terms of your activating your sensual energy, your sensory body, you know, activating the sensory body at all levels of that body, you know, tactfully, you know, sound wise, you know, all your senses, and more senses than those that we know, you know, than the 7 senses. It's also apparent, it's very, very, it's incredible to do that and to purify. It's a purification, but it's a gentle, feminine purification. You know, it's a very gentle, feminine. You know, I'm very much into. I love roses, and like you know, and when I started in my path, in order to purify, a long time ago, you know, I started with these baths. I was guided by my team, let's call it, one of the members of my team, to do the rose baths, you know, and I kept on saying, can I use sandalwood? Can I use this? No, you can only use rose, you know. So I had to put rose water in the baths, and I had to put rose oil, okay, a candle, and then just sit for 20 minutes, and always at the same time. And I had to do this 3 to 4 times a week. I ended up doing 3, but for 2 years, this went on. And it was part of the preparation work, you know. And so all this information of the senses of the, you know, the the fertility codes and everything, had to be worked out. I had to work through this, So when the other day someone said to me, I've gone on a rose dieta, and I thought, wow, okay, that resonates with me, that is in alignment with what I was guided to do, not necessarily the way for everyone, not necessarily the way for everyone, but it brought in the gentleness, the innocence back. I was in corporate life before, and I was quite, my masculine side was extremely, out there, and it was like, it's an amazing thing, and you can do it at home. You don't need to join a group, to do, the rose protocol, for like a journey with the rose, where you drink the water, you use the oil, you bath in the petals, with the petals of the rose, and that opens all your channels. It assists you to open, but it's gentle. It's gentle because it's embracing, and it's the mother energy. And I think that's you very connected with the divine mother energy, and that is one of the keys of the divine mother energy, is the rose energy.
Yeah, beautiful.
The path of the rose. The path of the rose.
Yeah. I'm making some vibrational essences as well. I've got a space clearing one that's brewing at the moment, but I've done a regeneration one, and it's linked to many of the plants and the trees in the garden, but particularly rose. So it's interesting. Like, I felt the regeneration aspect of it, but it's interesting that you bring that in.
Yeah, that was.
I was just going to say, you spoke of your grandson before, and your grandson was the inspiration for you to create the Sacred World game.
Yes, that's right.
You are in the process of creating, so I would love you to share about the Sacred World game. And I'm just going to briefly, while you do that, I'm going to put you on full screen, and I'm just going to nip off, but I should still hear you, and I will be back. But yeah, tell us all about the Sacred World game, because this is really, really exciting.
So, I was saying before that I was called to come here to do the action part, meaning to actually design the game, because the story of the game, the inspiration for the game, it came through, from different sources, from how I was brought up, also, in a place that I'm, from a loving home, from a welcoming home to other children, also to a welcoming home to welcoming parents, to that understood that your imagination was so important, the world of imagination. And it wasn't just brushed aside and said, oh, you are fantasizing, or you are making up information, or it is not like that. It was respected. And I found myself during the pandemic, doing homeschooling for my grandchildren, particularly for Raphael, the 7-year-old, but then he was 5, and helping out my daughter in England. And the challenges of a child that is spirited, I say, because now and then, and I'll say that most of the time now, but now and then a child is born, a child that has these gifts and these talents that are not within the norm, within the norm, that connects to the unseen world and narrates the stories of remembrance of those words, of those worlds, that can easily connect with the trees or with the soil or with the water, and who practices loving kindness from the heart space, but in a daily, every second of his life, these children, they come with because they are spirited, but they come sometimes with labels, attached with labels, because he's highly dyslexic, for example, and so they labeled a special education needs child, the SEN children. They have an abbreviation for the SEN children, and that's the system has to take care of it also, understood. But there was a need to bring up, to design something that met that made a bridge, through gameplay, that allowed that imagination not being curbed like it was before, with a lot of people that were that when they were children, they wouldn't be able to verbalize what they were seeing, if they were seeing an alien energy, or is they're seeing a tree interacting with them, or crystal. So the idea was birthed, of what if changing, the change in the education system, the changing in the world, what if changing the world would be as simple as just a game, just playing a game, and so that it was birthed, and it was inspired by, of course, my grandson Raphael, and other children that I've met along the way that are awakened. So they have the 10 DNA strands, or the 12 DNA strands activated, or they have remembrance, and it's the only thing that is needed is for that unique spark. So an environment, a way that unique spark is sparkled, is actually can radiate and be welcomed by the parents and by the educational system. So the game was birthed as a result of that. The story was birthed, and it's a self-discovery game. It's a self-discovery for the parents, and it's a self-discovery for the teachers and with other kids that are playing equally with them. It's about engaging a path, so you engage in a path where you go through different realms of existence. You go through the cosmos, which we have called it in the game Lanakia, because that's where we are. That's how, and we've gone through the waters, which is Tortuga, the Divine Mother Turtle that holds the energy of everything, is the great grandmother, and it's Avalon, which is the earth, the whole nature spirits, everything that interacts with you. And the gate takes place in throwing the dice and going around these realms, and it's through adventure. So it's fun, it's a path. It's engaging the right brain, and the left brain, because it's important that both of them are working. So there is a lot of critical decision making, to be done, but it's spontaneous and free because it's aligned with adventure, with mystical characters, that are parts of ourselves. So there's 24 characters that bring in different qualities, and either galactic qualities from the cosmos or nature spirits. So we have the Pachamama, we have the ancient stone spirits, we have the water spirits, we have the unicorns, we have the fairies, we have the tree spirits, we have the dragons. So amongst the characters, we have Akina, which is the Pleiadian energy. We have the galactic cosmic health, you know. So we have those from Orion, you know, from different planets also. So we have a mixture. It's a mixture, but it's representative of all the realms, because we've come to connect with all of it. And these children have come here to connect fully with that earth realm, you know, and with that water realm, that they have the coding for it. So they are ready. They know how to interact. They can see it. So it's at the heart of the game, really, is the golden child. So the golden child that lost its amnesia, you know, that's all of us. And we've come through this blended portal, which is in the middle of the game board, you know, and we've lost our remembrance, you know, and we've come to find, you know, to evolve, to know ourselves, you know, to know itself, just like Source, because Source, it's knowing itself. It's still knowing itself. So it's got all of us as aspects of it, you know, and, you know, knowing itself so that we can return to the reality of who we really are, you know. So the golden child is birthed from a star, because we've got the stars and the universes inside, you know, so we are with unique abilities. We have these skill sets, we have these gifts, but we've lost the memory of these talents. So the child's quest to remember, to recover these gifts, the parents' quest to remember, you know, through these mystical characters and these mystical tools, because you have watches that slow time and accelerate time. You've got, you know, an eye that that enables you to cross through a stargate under a crystal city underwater. You know, you've got a wand, a tree spirit wand that moves you forward, you know, and that enables you to you are able to be invisible for short periods of time, you know, to help you in the game, you know, and you receive these adventures. So the child goes through the earth, the water, the journey, connects with the totem animals, to the animal kingdom, connects to the nature kingdoms, and connects with the glyphs, because the glyphs have all these symbols have a frequency, and it transfers information and to the trees, to the tree spirits, to the animals, and to us humans. We've forgotten how to read the glyphs, how to read the crystals. So the game encompasses all these, you know, and the play begins with each player choosing a character at random, you know, then giving them a home base in one of the realms in the game board, and from which the journey starts. And then they have to choose at random a tool, you know, and this tool will assist the player during the adventures. And finally, they choose the adventure card, which requests them to decide how they're going to be resolving the adventure. And it doesn't prescribe, and this game is not about who arrives first, who finishes first. It's not competitive, you know. So you sort out your adventure with your character, with your tool, you know, but you are free to express through sound, through movement, through storytelling, through drawing, if you wish, to sort out the adventure, you know. So it opens your creativity in all layers, okay? And not only the children, but the parents. And I would say more so now, you know, even the parents, because they found themselves in a place where they are not given a number that takes them somewhere and they arrive first. You know, they have to design their own solution, you know, through a creative process that involves sound, imagery, and connection from the heart, movement, and their body. Because one of the key areas of the game is the connection with the elementals, you know, the fire, the earth, the air, but also the connection with your body. Because it's your body that sometimes is going to give you the solution. So there is breath work, you know, that you can do, you know, by placing your hand in your heart and your hand in your solar plexus, and you do these breathing exercises as you wish. You know, you can add sound to it, and you are able to then see it clear how you're going to sort out that adventure. And so you go around the board 3 times. So you do 3 adventures, you know, and if you finish first, because you throw the dice, and you know you choose a character and you choose an adventure in a particular realm, but maybe the dice doesn't take you to that realm, so you have to go again. So let's say you finish first, then your colleagues, you know, so your parents and your teachers and your friends can help you out. They offer to help you with characters, with tools, with remembrance cards, with Nanakia cards, you know, because Nanakia is the overlighting light, you know, and that's also the name that my grandchild gave me from a very early age, you know, because you know, children make everything simple. You know, Yukia wouldn't work. And then and then he felt that this was the right name, that Kia was, he could see the aura, the auric field of the white light, the white golden light. And he called it Kia. And actually the root of the word is Polynesian. It's actually well before Polynesian, but it's Polynesian, and it's the one that is the white one. They call it the white one. So that person's got divine qualities, and divine qualities meaning the divine mother quality. So what qualities does Nanakia have? You know, Nanakia has the qualities of magic, of encouraging free expression, nurturing, loving kindness, supporting, mentoring, supporting and encouraging their gifts, you know, embracing all elements of nature and not excluding any, and being compassionate in its leadership, being joyful and playful sometimes, and a free spirit, and allowing the body to feel and to encourage that feeling that is in divine order, that is, you express yourself, be free to feel and to express the feeling. Because I've noticed that many children don't, you know, growing up with other children also, they keep it to themselves. And then in the game, the parents suddenly discover that the child feels like this, because through the game, it is not, it is relaxing, and it is an experience that encourages the child to freely express, because it's just a game. And the parents get to know parts of their children that they've never known, and vice versa. The children get to know parts of the story of the parents that they never thought that they, that they had connections with the water, connection with the cosmos, connections with other beings, and they find out that the mother or the father has had that when he was young, but he couldn't speak about it. He had to shut down. So now they're asking them to tell them stories and not to read them stories, because they have a story to tell that hasn't been communicated yet. So so through these random combinations of the character, the tool, the adventure, they learn, everybody learns, all of us learn how to experience, how to feel something new, how to collect something, a part of ourselves that we didn't know existed, aspects of ourselves, how to unlock parts of ourselves that we had closed for years, and never shared with anyone, how to stretch our imagination and tap into that infinite field of nature, because nature is a mirror for everything, and actually retrieve the solutions, from that field, because we all can, giving ourselves permission to go there. And as children become more familiar and parents with the game, they continue to open their hearts and to develop the emotional intelligence. It helps them with critical thinking. It helps them with decision making. And essentially, it helps them to cooperate together and to share. And also to partner with nature. Because the game doesn't finish until you get a nature card, a partner with nature card. And that is a group activity. So it's not individual. You have to do it as a group. You can do it inside the house or outside. Obviously, not everybody lives in a house, so, the different activities that are designed in the partner with nature cards cater for inside and outside, where you can do a fire ceremony, or you can go and hug trees, or you can connect, you can plant, you can plant seeds, sunflower seeds, or you can do a group song, you choose, but for, to assist the plants to grow, so there's many activities listed, and you take a random card and you go and do it together. And so then that's when the game finishes. The game finishes when you come back from the activity. All right. And that you've done together, you share your experiences, there will be later on a website where they can upload a photo if they want, or a video, because some children love to speak on videos now, or they can contribute to non-profit organizations that are doing great work in our waters, in our forestry, in our planet, so there will be organizations listed, that you can contribute to work towards, or, you can donate if you want, and at schools, this will be easier, because at schools, at the end, they can do a fundraising. They can choose one of the organizations that they like, and they can fundraise and organize some very fun fundraising, and then donate to that organization. So it's a very interactive. We probably only launch in June, because we have to go to a Kickstarter soon, The prototype is ready, so it's very exciting. So we'll be testing it in the next 2 weeks. Fully. We've done a test, but not fully. So we'll be testing it, and I'm very, very excited to bring this through, because it's going to help the education system also to be able to through gameplay. It's a tool for the education system to design their own curriculums for children, for all sorts of children, not one curriculum. And then you have this separate program for this child that's got the dyslexia. No, you design according to the skill sets and the talents that the children have, and you use creativity as your compass, your compass. So it's very excited. It's been a whole year and a half now of it. Yes. And we are now in the last strokes. So I'm very excited with it, very, very excited to bring it to the world, because I know it is going to change many things in the world, It's a place to come together, because it's a physical, pop-up game. So it's also a place to come together as a family, a place to come together as friends, place to come together in the classroom, and it's also a place to innovate new ways of being together, of thinking together, of planning together, of valuing each other, of respecting each other. And it's a very powerful entry point, through the elements and through nature, because that's the mirror. That's the key to the game. So it's through the water, the cosmos, the fire, the portal that we've come in, and that we're going to be leaving through the same portal. So we're embodying that spirit nature of ourselves, So because that's part of us, and it needs to, it's welcoming that and embracing that and bringing that into balance, and allowing the body to feel the energy. Yes, so it's exciting. What's also great about the game is that there's a lot of magic, because the characters are all, there's a lot of magic in the nature spirits. There's a lot of magic in the galactic aspects of ourselves. There's a lot of magic inside of ourselves. And there's also the wisdom of the character, the key codes that are embedded in the glyphs of the character design and the character description that's included in the card. So there's a capacity for the players to tap at so many different levels and give them access to places inside themselves that they didn't even know were theirs. Because, for example, the swan, which is one of the characters, the swan is the swan, but it is the swan in each one of us, So where is the swan inside you? Where is the swan inside me? Where's the elven inside me? Where's the crystal inside me? Where is the ancient water spirit? Where is that? And it's the discovery of that part of the self that maybe we didn't identify with. And in so doing, we are trying through random selection, we get actually to play the character, because you get an opportunity every time you play the game, you get to play different characters and develop the role. But what you are doing is actually unlocking the coding, unlocking the aspects of the part that exists inside you, in the start that you are and that you've come from, and unlocking that remembrance of that amnesia. That's what's happening through the game. So yeah, I'm very excited, very, very excited about bringing it to, we'll be sharing photos of people playing the game soon, like little videos yes. And so it's encouraging storytelling too, so you can be encouraged to sound, to draw, to act out, to verbalize, to storytell, to create through the senses, something that, and it gives you that opportunity to practice all that, in order to move through the game, because it's always different. Yeah.
It sounds
so
sorry, I was
no,
just going to say, it sounds so well
yes,
thought out and integrated. Like it feels really well woven.
was developed. Yes. So everyone has got a name, and the dolphins, so there's the dragons, there's the star elders, the sun elders. So my team is also in the game. I've just called them the star elders instead of the sun elders, but they have a name which is Da Ba Va, which has a meaning. That of course people playing the game will not. It will be in the glossary though. That the energy of Da is love, and it's Lemurian. And Ba is joy, and Va is gratitude. And so so there is a decrypting of something also in, we've got the wells, the flower beings, so it's the elves and the Pegasus and the condor and so there's so many, the ancient stones, the seahorse. So we have the characters are divided into the different realms. So there's water characters, there's cosmo characters, and there is earth characters. So people get to know. And there's some characters which we call the magic ones. They interact anyway. So just to make it a little bit more interesting.
So you're hoping June it'll be released in June?
At the moment, we have a marketing company preparing us for the Kickstarter, because none of us are marketeers. We have a team, and it's a beautiful team, but that is not one of our skill sets. So we have, and I think it's going to take 2 months for the preparation for the Kickstarter. Then it's raising the funds for production, because production is the part that's going to take the chunk out. So for me, I see it earliest as June. Yeah. But it could be earlier than that, if something happens. Yeah, if something happens to quicken the process, but the way I'm seeing earliest June, it will be, in the market.
Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, if someone wanted to connect, your website, is that Sacred World Games, did you say?
Sacred World, no, the website is called sacredworlds.com.
Right.
And they can find, they can, connect with us through the email. If all the information is there, it's our landing site, that one. It's got visuals. And if they subscribe to that site, they keep I think every 4 weeks you get a newsletter with the progress of how we are progressing, interviews, podcasts, shared, information about the game, snippets, how the characters were designed, how what the tools are, are about, where did the idea come from, fun things, for people to know. So you get that. And you, by subscribing, of course, you get your coloring book. We have a free coloring book that we send to the kids with the characters, of the game. So in the meantime, they can play with that until the game is ready.
I'm just putting sacredworlds.com.
Yes. And we are also in Sacred Worlds game in YouTube. So there is also information videos, about the design of the game, about, the fun things and interviews that, I am busy doing since December. I've been doing interviews about the game. So if anyone wants to get to know it, and if anyone wants to contact us, of course, through the landing site, they will be able to contact us.
Hopefully that has worked. Yeah, no, I'm excited for this game. I want to.
Yeah, no, yeah, I am so excited about next week, because we're going to actually have the physical, like I've got like, can I show you? Yeah. So I've got like, this is Nanaki, and then the write-up, because we've been seeing it virtually, and so we sort of done a print run just to see how it looks in the print, and it's looked very good, and now
just put it in front of you, in front of your body, because it's, oh wow, yeah, beautiful.
And you've got the write-up there. And then, of course, the game is going to have the figurines, not only the cards, the 3D figurines of the characters, So the proper game. With a prototype, no, we're just testing the prototype with the cards, So I'm very excited to have it in my hands, like the box in my hand, when it's all printed, and test with different families, and we're testing here. We're testing 6 here, and then we'll be testing. I think that the sample will be about 30 all over the world in different places.
Yeah.
To see, because when you test, maybe something doesn't work. You have to fix. It's very exciting now. I'm very happy with, and this, of course, was a creative process, but basically I needed to stop my activities completely in order to concentrate on this, and that's why my hibernation was about that, just focusing on this energy, of bringing the wisdom, with clarity, and then working on how this whole thing is was supposed to work, because there's a lot of structure in it, and I had the assistance of a friend of mine who works on the content, but on the what we call the game dynamics, the structure side. That was a great help. Without that, we wouldn't have been able to put it together. Yeah. Because you can have all the creativity, all the the downloads, but how do you put it in a game format? That was very important.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oof.
How do you feel about the game? What is your intuition? Because your intuition is great. So I wanted to know from you, when you hear the explanation, the narrative.
My heart was just bubbling, and like my inner child was just going, oh, but it feels, like I was saying before, you feel so supported in this from all the realms. I've got a really good feeling about it.
Yeah, it was so important, bring all the realms together.
And even though it may start that it's people, like kind of more maybe awakened, for want of a better word, families that maybe start with it, like it might be more of the kind of spiritual community or whatever. But I feel it going out as well. And that will, it could really be key to the awakening journey. If kids are playing it in someone's house and then they come home and say, oh, Mum, I've played this amazing game.
My experiences, yes.
Yeah.
No, that's how I see it mushrooming, and first, yes, we are targeting first, we will be connecting with alternative schools first, you know. In South America, we might not, we might go mainstream because it's different. This is normal for them. You know, it's normal for them to connect with the tree. It's normal for them to talk to the crystals and heal with the crystals. So it might be that in certain continents, you know, more pro these things, we adopt a different strategy. But at the moment now, we, you know, go organically. We go organically, yeah. But it's very exciting.
I'm really excited. I look forward to being able to play it.
Yeah, no, as soon as I've got, you know, I'm coming to England, you know, before summer. So I will bring one of the prototypes with me anyway. So you can, when I visit you, we can test it again, you know. So it will be good. I have a few people around the world that, you know, send the software copy, they print it, you know, and those that we can send it by post, you know, we do. But those that are in countries where the post is going to cost us a fortune, you know, at this stage, we just going to be asking them to print, you know, and giving them that money to print, you know, because it's in our interest for you to play the game and test it. Yeah.
So as part of the Kickstarter, would people be able to buy it early? You know, have that idea?
Yes, they will. So in the Kickstarter, we're going to have options to buy early at a better price. You know, we're going to be, you know, we're going to get offerings of posters, of T-shirts with the characters. You know, also a game, not a game, but it's like an oracle card. You know, that with the characters and the tools where children design their own story, you know, so they get to know the game a little bit before the game gets released. So that will be on offer, you know, during the Kickstarter. The figurines, you know, some of the figurines will be on offer. Stickers, you know, because children love stickers, you know, things like that. And
I'm thinking more about adults than children.
Yeah, yes, they like it. They like all these little things, you know.
Yeah.
Like the first thing Raphael asked me, he said, you think I can have a poster of the golden child, because it's his caricature. Yeah, I said, but I also want the other characters. But I said, we don't have posters yet, but we're going to have posters, don't worry, later on. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's it. And we're going to have other products, but first we need to focus on the launch of this one, because, you know, you're not going to do others until you actually launch one. Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
Well,
have you got time for a little light language?
Yes, I do.
For a while.
Of course. Always.
Always.
That.
I'll let you start.
Okay.
So we were saying before that this is like a blessing to the waters. So that's the waters of the planet, but our water as well. So
we're sending a blessing to the waters of the planet, you know, and to the waters of the cosmic waters, the waters of the planet, and the waters within. You know, there is a massive shake-up and a massive recalibration taking place within the waters, all these waters, all the universal waters, as a result of we call it a reversal, but it's the reversal of the poles, which has been going on for a long time, so nothing to worry about. But now that has been mirroring also what we are doing in our bodies. All right. Because everything's changing. how the meridians communicate, how the organs communicate, how we are vibrating, and are we going to be rejuvenating, very, very rapidly, as a result of this repolarization and recalibration. So assistant needed for that. So here we go. And also to moderate the impact of the incredible waves that are happening, around the world, with these changes, as an impact of these changes, translated in cyclones, in tsunamis, in many cosmic, seismic fluctuations. So I'm going to do my offering of blessings.
Thank you.
Walakutam aurate quili surpiti koranutai manoikiru malala korite kurasaturi amanur mishtu koron granturu innosoro. La parate kirpati marmuni ari kromnidui wari samnani ulahai shamdelei kwa erkolle kritu armana miralle turmininino Samtilelam ninam 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 amnirulan nerudinin binanuremandrin nunininu hanarurnadam nininu Shimnanuram the Kringurim the Quinininguram derinay, Sim derena Quishmilinam, Durimin Angalaman, the Krini, some Denigrunic. Green Dinagram, this suit of Nandur, suit of Namdur, Harigram, Amirum Nam.
Kialai kiat ontoran tai, ikit onto kikikalala. Belikiat toto don dora daka ai kikist ara tikit onto taa. Kalakita bara tikaton dara tikitiki kikilakita bara tikuto onto taa. Kalakita ana good door nakata ai ktost. Purtakatara tikitiki papalakata popapalaki kake kuto und uist at ai kita ai. Hol ekia at ant oko ukta a ikte ampo utu ist at a ho le ki to rta kastara dampa hal itoit at oita tata hi ut korata a ik le ki harna ko hi ampe ya to ikuto to tata a de parene ki dui tata a ko ni khishtin ya kete de burtuk de a to go udui tata Malak ya hai lui to onto ya tata. Uli hills yakda ampi petaka. Go to the court take the up get to paret get or take the gida. Well, he ya hai la hoi to hornakaba. Ile no hoya tanaki ya to orniki at to take the. Maliki are no kudust. Mikial orundoi dai. Holaha it's act uist at a paratico. Mika o yep dear nukuti o or the So just feeling yourself in your heart space. Feeling anchored into the new earth templates of Gaia's heart. Feeling centered and aligned in our physical bodies. And feeling gratitude in our hearts. And if you can get out to the trees either today or in the next few days, or to some water, spaces where there's water, that will be amazing. And drink plenty of it. I should do that at this very moment.
Like I'm drinking so much water. Yeah. So thank you so much, love, for holding such great space and for this beautiful time together, you know.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Really,
thank you.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and I'm so glad we have connected heart to heart. Love you, sister.
I love you too, and thank you so much.
Thank you, love.
Yeah, you've been on my mind to invite as a guest for ages, and it hasn't felt the right time until now, which has just been perfect. Is the perfect time.
It's just perfect for me. Now I'm open again to podcasts. Yes. All right. Love you.
Thank you. So much gratitude.
So much gratitude.
I'm going to stop the live.